Hello and welcome to Camera Review. Today we are looking at Fuji's 16 to 80mm lens, that is f4 with the image stabilization that has been announced, and it's a new lens from Fuji that we have seen their lineup of lenses getting better and better. Now we have a lens that is going to serve incredible functionality for those people who are doing wedding photography, events photography, and for anybody who wants to use a zoom lens that's going to deliver incredibly good results with the ability to go from 24mm to 120mm, and that is very good for a lens that is designed to be compact and portable, and it's a lens that delivers results for even those people who want to do landscape photography as well as those people who want to do portrait photography. So we're going to look at this lens more closely, define it, what it is, and how it can be used. Now, for other things, we may look at the whole lineup and decide if this is the right lens, but only your design, your applications that you have for your photography is going to define that. Overall, I think as a camera and lens combination, this delivers something that no other camera really delivers in terms of functionality, because you're not only getting the Fuji's incredible colors, you're not only getting their wonderful optics, you're also getting a system that is worked to integrate into a system that is going to deliver good results. And of course, this falls directly in line with their other lines of lenses that they have there. For example, FUJIFILM's XF5140mm, that is the f2.8, sells about $1,600, is the other lens. If you put these two together, you're going to have just about all the focal lengths covered. Again, what we're looking at, a lens that is more affordable with an f4, which is a fixed aperture. That means you're not going to have variances in terms of the aperture when you're going from the portrait to, for example, to wide angle, and that means a lot more versatility for those people who are going to use it for changing focal lengths, so you don't have to make adjustments into your ISO settings or things if you're using it manual. For as an application purposes, I'm going to first talk about some of its features, and then we're going to talk about the portrait side of it. So what is the 16 to 80mm? First of all, it is designed to work with the APS-C type of sensor cameras. So that means this is going to deliver good results for those kind of cameras that are designed in Fuji's lineup. It is also designed to deliver a very wide focal range, which is the 24 to 120mm. You got one extra low dispersion element that is aspherical, that is going to remove the color fringing chromatic aberration that is common to a lot of these zoom type of lenses. And you got a very high clarity, good color fidelity, and that is going to have your lens match perfectly with the higher megapixel cameras that are coming out, which are going up over 30 now for the APS-C. And what we're seeing is they're going to be able to resolve for that sensor, and that accuracy, that color, that is vital for zoom lenses, and this is where Fuji delivers very good results. Now, there are three other aspherical elements in this design, which is very well designed, and that is going to allow this lens to make corrections for distortions, and as far as aberrations, spherical aberrations. These are things that are important when you want to get very sharp images that are very good in terms of having it very accurate. For that, I think that Fuji engineers have really put their minds together to create an incredibly well-designed lens. In the past, if you look at the lenses, they were all hand-ground, and creating aspherical elements was incredibly difficult. So you had variations in quality, you had difficulties and things like that. But now we got these incredibly accurate, well specifically engineered lenses that are designed by computers, and things that is designed to make the lens have no deviations from the very specific numbers that are designed to make those aspherical lenses perfect. So that makes this lens have all these elements in it that corrects for all those issues that may arise as far as chromatic aberration and distortions. Again, if you compare it to lenses that are in the market, for full frame and otherwise, this lens performs incredibly well, and it delivers results that are on par with anything that the full frames deliver. In fact, it supersedes in a lot of respects, which I'm going to get into in a minute. Now, there is also what they call Super EBC, which stands for electron beam coating. That is basically a fancy name for this coating that I have on the lens surfaces that is going to allow this lens to correct for ghosting that may happen, and also it's going to get flare taken care of in some respect. It's going to allow it to have more control over it, and also you're going to see that there's going to have more contrast, and contrast is very good if you want to get sharper images and have more details, and that's going to be able to capture it. Of course, the color accuracy is second to none for lenses designed by Fuji. They have very long history of designing good lenses, and I think this lens in itself has put all their knowledge, know-how to make a lens that is both incredibly well designed yet delivers incredible consistency across all the focal lengths that this zoom lens has. Now, also, one of the things I look for when I'm buying a lens is how quiet it is, how easily can it focus without having to have issues with noise and everything. In the past, if you know, the lenses used to make noises and were slow, but this one is incredibly fast. It's almost very quiet that you don't really hear the lens focusing. It makes the photography a lot more pleasurable and makes it a lot easier, especially if you're using for like weddings and everything. You don't want to hear that lens focusing sound that happens, especially like if you had medium formats, you will see that sound, which I think is not a pleasant sound when you're trying to get photographs of, let's say, wedding couples engagement or things like that. And for that, I think we owe a lot of engineers a lot of thank yous, because they have managed to get a lens that's also fast, it has incredible good design, and is also silent. And in a way, that has allowed this lens to be the most versatile lens probably in Fuji's lineup. Also, what we can see is that this has a 6-stop image stabilization. That is incredibly good for a lens that is a zoom lens, because when you go up to the higher focal lengths, let's say you go up to the equivalent of 120 millimeters, just 80 millimeters on this lens, what you're going to see is that you're going to need to hold the lens very stable. If you didn't have image stabilization, probably put it on a tripod or have a very fast shutter speed. This way, what you can do is you can handhold it, lower your shutter speed, and still get incredibly good images because the image stabilization is there. And 6 stops is incredible number, because you are going to be able to shoot in low light, you're going to be able to shoot in nighttime, you're going to be able to get fast action without having blurs or missed shots. And that, I think, is incredibly important to have a lens that has this type of performance. Even the best lenses that are out there, they don't provide as much as this one is. They got up to 5, maybe 5.5, but nothing that offers around 6 stops of image stabilization. And this lens is incredible in that respect. Of course, we need to talk about how durable this lens is, and if you look at it, it is weather sealed. This is great for dust and everything else. We are able to contain this lens without having to have elements destroy it. So for that reason, I think if you're traveling to the cold regions of the world where you have minus 10 degrees, you're still going to be able to operate this lens. And also in the heat and other things where dust is a major issue, if you are, for example, a traveling photographer or photojournalist, this is going to perform very well, because it's also, again, weather resistant. It's designed to perform incredibly well. Of course, one of my favorite things is the bokeh or the bokeh, and that it comes from the fact that the number of blades that you have within the lens, that is going to define how round that bokeh is. And this one has got 9 aperture blades. That means you're going to get very round circular bokehs, and that is very nice, because that means that if you, for example, doing portraiture, you want to have the background have these beautiful renditions of soft, smooth transitions. If you're shooting at night, you want to have some lights in the background. They're going to turn nice and round. That is beautiful to look at. It improves the photography. Things that we want to do it in camera, this allows us to do a lot of those things. And for me, when I'm using a lens that is well designed, has nice aperture blades that are like 9 to 9 range. That is guaranteeing me that not only am I going to get good bokeh, I'm also going to get a lens that is going to give me the ability to shoot at portraiture lens focal lengths that is going to deliver results, whether I'm shooting at 85 or 90 or 120 millimeter in the 35 millimeter format I'm talking about. So this lens is going to deliver great results when you have a lens that is designed with a 9 aperture blade with the boundless bokehs. You're going to have beautiful results as a portrait lens. The f4, well, most people think is that I don't have a f2 or a f1.4 or something like that. You should remember that when you go up to a focal length of, let's say, 80 millimeters on this lens, which is going to give you 120 millimeters in 35 millimeter format, you're going to have this incredibly out of focus background that you don't need to have an f2 or f1.4 to get that beautiful bokeh. And for that, I think if you are, for example, a photographer for fashion or anything else, or a lifestyle photographer, this is going to serve all your needs basically, because you are capturing images with just right amount of background if you wish to, or you could dial it down to get this beautiful smooth creamy bokeh that is going to make your portraitures look incredibly beautiful. For lenses that are fast, that means you, for example, if you had a prime lens, you'll have to switch back and forth between different focal lengths. That makes it very limiting, or you're going to be stuck with shooting just one focal length. This way you can go at different focal lengths and get different types of compositions and be able to put exactly how much framing you want around the subject that you're photographing. Especially useful for those people who are doing lifestyle photography. So basically, would I recommend this lens? Absolutely. I think for the price that it is a lens that is going to deliver incredibly great results for those people who need a lens that is going to do everything. If you're new to Fuji systems especially, this is the first lens I would get, because you're going to be able to get almost all your photography needs and be able to get incredibly sharp images that is almost going to be on par with prime lenses. The design is incredibly well made, well thought out. You got the aspherical elements controlling aberration, distortion. You got the coatings that is controlling the ghosting. For all that it is, if you compare it to more expensive lenses like the 50 to 140 millimeter that sells for 1600, this one is only 800, like half the price. So it's the first lens I would get, and it's going to cover just about all the needs that a photographer may need. If you're doing events especially, or lifestyle photography, or if you're doing wedding photography, lifestyle photography, and all these applications, or even if you're doing street photography, this covers all your needs. So overall, I provided links down below where you can get them for the best price, more information and specs, and also our article on this lens itself, where you can read in more depth of how we see it and how we can use it in the field. And these are things that I think that everyone should consider before purchasing a lens. And research, knowing how you're going to use, is going to define how well this lens is suited for you. So I hope this has been informative. I hope to see you in our next review. Thank you for watching.